Hi, I'm Philip Ames from Wayfinders. If you're feeling isolated and alone and unable to create the life and the dreams you have for yourself, I'm having a workshop this April 7th here in Toronto at the North York City Centre to help you change that and free yourself. Wayfinders is unique because it helps you to build a support community to do this. You don't have to do it alone. You can contact me at Philip Ames, Philipames, @simpatico.ca, or call me at 416-200-4198. Thank you.
Okay. Welcome back to Liquid Lunch. We're here hitting the home stretch. We got Philip Ames here. Philip, great to have you on the show. Back on the show. This is what, your second or
second? Yeah.
Okay.
It was a few years ago. You said you changed the setup. But.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So great to have you back, and you're going to be giving a talk on isolation, right?
I guess that's one way to look at it. I was debating while I was sitting waiting whether I would talk about trying to help people over the negative or talk about the positive. So mostly I'd want to talk about the positive. The work that I do is really, I'm a therapist, psychotherapist, and the work that I do is really divided between therapy and kind of coaching. I really want to take people to the positive side. Mm-hmm. And so basically what this workshop is about is there's a huge amount of isolation in our culture, so much so that people don't even question it. We don't even think about it. We're geared to think we've got to do it all ourselves somehow. And it doesn't have to be that way. There was a book written by the Dalai Lama and an American psychiatrist, Howard Cutler, where Cutler asked the Dalai Lama, what do you think is the main problem in the West, Western civilization? And he didn't even hesitate. He said it's isolation, lack of community. And this has always been a hot button for me, and I was really excited to see that. So the work that I do basically helps people set up community for themselves, set up links and networks, people that care, more than just a mastermind group, but to help build their way out of feeling isolated and get on with their dreams, get on with the goals and the excitement that they've got.
In the context of a community of some sort, right?
Yeah. There's things that I supply, and then also it's basically to teach them and give them the experience of the principles, help them break through. Many people can't handle being too close. Mm-hmm. So it's to help them heal that, and then teach them the principles to help them find links. Find the people that want to help them. There's people that want to help people all the time. And that's really exciting, is to help get them together.
That's really interesting. I was just thinking about, I don't know where I got this idea, but people were talking about, when the power went out. Remember we had the blackout a few years ago?
Which one? I remember several.
August 14th, I think it was.
Well, that big one.
In August.
That was out for over a day. The big one a few years ago.
Yes.
All over North America.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And it was like, all of a sudden, it's like that sense of isolation almost seemed to disappear. And people started talking to their neighbors. Mm-hmm. The lights were out. People would come out of their homes and meet the person across the street for the first time. They were just zoned in, plugged into their appliances, their computers, their TVs, and all that kind of stuff.
I think it snapped people out of the way they're used to being. And I mean, if you go to small towns or small cities, I was just on holiday down in Fort Lauderdale. It's a big city, but the section I was in, everybody was on holiday, so they're all saying hi to each other.
Yeah.
Whereas back home in their ordinary city, they probably wouldn't. It's really incredible when you think about it. You look at an apartment building, all of these boxes, and nobody knows anybody else.
Yeah.
And it shrank down, like, I'm a little older than you are, but it shrank. Matter of fact, today's my birthday. I'm 64 today.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, 64 is the new 32.
64. It's the new 32, right.
Oh, wow.
So
I remember. And you don't look a day over 30.
Exactly.
Until I look in the mirror. The body just isn't quite as willing as it was.
Take off the glasses and it's good.
I don't have them on.
Well,
that's the scary thing. You thought I had them on. So.
You got to put yours on, Sandra.
But we may have heard stories, say the 30s, the 40s, where people lived in neighborhoods and knew a lot of their neighbors, that kind of thing. But it's gradually been breaking down, I think, in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. So that we ended up, like when I was a kid, before your time, in the 50s, we were down to the nuclear family. And that's a phrase everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mother and father, a couple of kids, and they're trying to do it all themselves. And if they're lucky, their family lives in the neighborhood. If they're lucky, they know some of the neighbors. But now it's becoming increasingly like a one-parent family, and it's usually a woman who's who's struggling her butt off to try to make it go and handle everything. And it's extremely painful. it weighs people down, and they can't be creative because they're so busy trying to survive.
Mm-hmm.
So this has always bugged me. I was really lucky because when I first got help back in the 70s, I was in a therapeutic community here in Toronto, which I've since found out was perhaps the largest commune in North America, called Therafields in those days. And it was not perfect, but by God, it was wonderful. I got a lot of help. I could step out on the street in the annex here in Toronto, look up and down the street, and there'd be 200 people I knew. You know, there were 6 or 8 houses that we had purchased all from our own money.
Those were the good old days.
Well,
Long
you know,
gone.
when you combine your resources,
Yeah.
you can do anything. People, that's the thing, is these people are so used to thinking, I can't start this business, I can't do that, I can't do this, because they're thinking of the resources they have. But I've really been enjoying, as I got back into private practice and started to commit to this thing that I've always wanted to do. Go for your dream, right? Scariest thing you can do, almost. But I've really been excited about, I think about it as win-win. When I'm looking to get somebody to help me out, I'm looking to see how it can help them.
Just
And-
like our other guest, Captain Revenue, was talking about earlier. It's about helping people, right?
The more, yeah, if you put your attention, like, there's a fellow that's helping me a lot with the internet right now. He's a client. Now, he's insisted to me, he said, look, I do this anyway because you're always there when I need you. But the thing is, he's wanting to develop his own skills about the internet. So as he helps me, he's learning. I don't have to be an expert at everything.
Yeah.
And I find I get a lot of satisfaction whenever I'm having contact with people and I'm looking for help, because I am all the time. Because there's so many things I don't know how to do, like the website I'm building right now. I look to see, well, what can I do for that person? How can I help them out? And I really think that if people put energy into that kind of thing, it's so amazing. You can find help. If you want to build something, you want to do something, there's mentorship. People that have done it that love to share. You know, they'd love to be able to tell you how they did it. So basically what I'm doing is helping people who have had to struggle. They're either ordinary folks or people who've been really psychologically injured as kids. Get help to heal that, but then to move on and help them, teach them and share with them how to find links, how to make connections with people, how to set up
You
sort of
mean
like a
human
family of
links?
choice.
Links, like we're not talking
Yeah.
computer links.
No,
right?
human
We're
links,
talking-
because they're the most important.
So it's like a
Computer ones
human
will come
Facebook.
afterwards.
What?
It's like a human Facebook.
Yeah. Or
Except that so many people are figuring Facebook's a life these days, and it's not.
no.
Most people can't handle actually real deep intimacy. They can't cope with it. You put a bunch of people together in the kind of houses I used to live in, they'll go nuts because they can't cope. They don't understand what's coming up. They don't understand the tension and the stress that's coming up with trying to be connected closely to somebody.
Because everybody's pushing everybody's buttons, right?
You got
Is that
it. And they don't understand that they're doing it. So that's what the kind of training and work that I do is where it's necessary, is help people understand the kind of things they're really coping with. I said the second hardest job you can do is building a business. The hardest is being married, as far as I'm concerned, because people just haven't got a clue. When they're in the bedroom, there's at least 6 people there. There's the 2 of you and your parents. And everything that hasn't been resolved is going to get projected onto the spouse. And
That's a whole nother discussion.
That's a whole other discussion, but that's the
Wow.
kind of things where appropriate. I want to help people be effective with their lives. That's what's so exciting. It is so much fun to watch people put together a project. Like I would have liked to have been around when you started doing this show. Just see, what did you go through? How did it happen? You know, what are the success stories? All that kind of stuff. So
That
when I
would
get
have been
going, I get excited.
I
That
say,
was
you know
a-
what? I see a book in the offing for you, where you start to interview a whole bunch of people and you know how they did get started and how
Get
they
their
made those-
stories.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that could be very possible. And if it's inspirational for somebody, then fantastic.
But it seems like with this the workshop that it's in April that you're giving.
It's in
it,
April
right?
7th. It's going to be at the North York City Center, not the Civic Center, which is right beside it. It's the North York City Center, and you can enter directly from the North York Center subway. It's going to start about 8:30 in the morning. Come at 8:30. It'll go till I would say around 4 in the afternoon, with time for lunch and so on. And we're going to spend the time really to try to, as much as possible, put a spotlight on this isolation thing, because I think it needs a bit of focus, because I think so many people don't even know that it's
Well, this is
an
what
issue.
This is kind of what's occurring to me is that a lot of people that are watching this right now are probably not even aware that it's a problem. Like a fish that doesn't know that he's swimming around in water.
It's that common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so then who are the people that are going to get the most out of coming to this? Or what are some of the trigger points or some of the things that people might be experiencing that is a kind of a red flag that they should say, I should really check out that workshop?
That's an interesting point. As a therapist, the thing is that usually people will do anything rather than come into therapy. They will climb mountains, they will fly off buildings, anything they can do to avoid facing the thing.
Well, Captain
Because
Revenue flew off a building this morning.
But it's because they're afraid. It's because the feelings come up and they know they couldn't handle it the first time. And they don't realize that's what's happening. It can be handled now. Anybody who is essentially right the spectrum from people who are struggling with their lives and are stuck alone. It's not changing. There's a lot of pain, and the thing is not changing for them. Those people can come. People who really have dreams that they want to accomplish, but they're finding that they're stuck, it's not moving well enough the way it could. Teaching people how to make the links with other people could very well help move that kind of thing forward. One of my biggest thrills is helping get people excited about their dreams and encourage it. Blow on the coal and help them decide to take the chance and move.
Mm-hmm.
That's really exciting stuff. So it's the whole spectrum. It's from people who feel they're broke, emotionally broke, that life is painful and they want to get out of it. Instead of providing a place where they come for 1 hour a week, I'm on call. People have connection with me a whole lot more than that. And plus I set them up with other people that they build trust with that can help them. And right through to people who in many ways are very successful, but it's just not working well enough. And the idea is you can find other people who would be interested to help you. And especially if you're willing to help them. If you're willing to commit to helping other people, it's amazing how they'll want to help you.
Mm.
So is this possibly also a workshop to connect and maybe network a little bit too?
Sure, that'll be yeah, absolutely. That's an interesting point. I should make time for that during the workshop to happen, where people can introduce themselves and say hello. That's a very, very good idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Because make it community in itself. Right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's about, as you said, it's really about creating a community around you, right?
That's right. Of like-minded folks, people it's not about leaving your family, leaving those people, but it's about deliberately looking for people who have the kinds of values, the kinds of interests, the kinds of caring that you have, that when you're around them, you just feel like, I feel better.
Mm-hmm.
I feel more expansive.
Okay, I got to ask you, because sometimes, people aren't getting that in their families.
They aren't.
Right? Because
a
you
lot of
choose
times
your
that
friends,
happens.
but you don't choose
Yeah.
your family.
Yeah.
Except on the psychic plane before you're born. Right?
So what to do about it?
What do you do about that? Or should people just
Change that psychic
find
plane
their
you were born
own
on.
social groups? I don't know.
Change that psychic plane you came in on.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting point. The real change happens in here. I was listening to the gentleman you had on earlier talking about Gandhi. Be the change you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
The community that I was in and originally trained in the 70s was very much a 60s, 70s kind of feeling of let's get away from all the insanity out there. Let's form the alternate. Let's leave our families, so to speak. It was never specifically said. But I don't believe in that. I believe in helping people develop connections, family of choice, to the level of connection they want. But I don't believe in walking away from your family. If you have to, if it's that massively dysfunctional, then you have to. But I would prefer to help people have the best connections they can have.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I found. Like I remember someone I'm very close to who in a group got some help to reconnect to their father, who she'd been pretty much like this with for many years. There was a connection that was the best he was able to do at that time. And that was wonderful before he passed, that this lady had that.
So she got closure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So then this workshop would also be good for, and not if you just have a dream in terms of what you want to do with your life, but also with your family.
Yes.
Too. This could be if you just want
That's
to,
right.
that
It's the
could
whole-
be your dream too.
It's the whole principle of healing, and my way of doing it is through community. I mean, I do individual work, of course, too. I don't just dump somebody into a community, but because they've got to build a sense of trust together with me and feel they can trust me. So I got to prove myself to them. But after that, I offer the option to start connecting to more people.
Mm-hmm.
Because just to have one person to come and see one time a week, or make a phone call to or something, that's helpful. But if you've got a bunch that care about you,
Mm-hmm.
and that you can call them if you need to, and you start
Are they
practicing.
mentors? So?
That happens spontaneously, but
Okay.
I'm just talking, for instance, in the see, it starts pretty much looking like a conventional therapy situation for many people, where they're coming for individual work and then groups and so on. But other people may come to me and really don't need to go back to that kind of basic reconstruction work. And so they're looking to make connections and community, build that principle for themselves of saying, I don't have to do this alone. I can get help. My dreams can move, you know. But it's especially, I guess, obviously, because this is where I started, I really have a soft spot for the people who feel trapped and don't know how to do much of anything except try to survive, and help them move beyond that.
And there's a lot of people maybe that are feeling that these
A
days.
lot more than we realize, because, and it's getting worse. In
Yes.
some ways, it's
Yeah.
getting worse because the whole internet culture just feeds that. It doesn't actually breed real connection.
Yeah, it's that whole it's the whole electric
Electronic.
soup we live in
Yeah.
that's taking people away from that real community.
There's nothing that substitutes for a hug.
Yeah.
You know,
Sandra knows that.
it has its place. It has its place. The
Free
internet
hugs.
has its place. The internet has its place.
Yeah.
It's a valuable tool.
Yeah,
But I would far rather hug a person than a computer.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Wow.
for people that are interested in finding out more, or maybe they just want to register for the workshop, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, I'm going to suggest that for right now, try my website. We've almost got things together now. PhilipAmes.com. So it's real simple.
Philip-
PhilipAmes.com. I regret to say that it wasn't totally ready when I came in today. So
That's
the-
okay, but when people are watching this, on the internet in a
Try
couple
it.
of weeks,
Try
this
it.
is going to be it's
It'll
going to be
be
up
there.
and it's going to be great.
It'll
So-
be there, and everything will be there to help you learn more about it and so on. But you can also simply email me, which is philipames@simpatico.ca. So Philip Ames, PhilipAmes, all one word, small case, @simpatico.ca.
And that's working now.
That's
so they can
working now.
contact you now.
Absolutely. So's my phone.
There you
416
go.
200 4198, and people are welcome to give me a call.
Great. Okay, Philip. Great to have this conversation
having me
here
Thank you
again.
today.
so
Nice to meet
much,
you
and
too.
good luck.
I'm feeling a little less isolated already. How about you, Sandra?
Absolutely.
And
I'm feeling the community.
And you're giving out free
Absolutely.
hugs
Big
as
all
soon
the
as we.
Okay, you show
break,
up on
right?
April 7th. You can get all the free hugs you like.
I hug everybody.
Okay. Philip, thanks for
Thank
doing
you.
this today. Sandra, thanks for
Thank you.
co-hosting. It was a lot
Awesome
of fun.
show. Awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
And we'll see everybody tomorrow at noon.
You could have sent him an email, for that.
Yeah,
You didn't
you-
have to do it in person.
Yeah, let's do that by email.
No, it's always better in person.
Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow noon for more right here.
Punching each button, readjusting the bottom line. Must be meaning something. Redistribute between the lines. I count the time.